Over to you, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग, नमस्कार। इस वासा का अंतिम सूत्र आज हम शुरू करेंगे। गीता जी ने खूब तैयारी की है उसके लिए। सामान्य फल सूत्र दीघ निकाय का दूसरा सूत्र है। वेरी कलरफुल बैकग्राउंड। बेसिकली जो टाइटल है वो तो यही कहता है कि श्रमण बनने का क्या फायदा है, क्वेश्चन। और ये प्रश्न सम्राट अजातशत्रु ने पूछा था भगवान बुद्ध से, तो उसका डिटेल्ड रिप्लाई इस सूत्र में दिया गया है। बड़ी इसकी कलरफुल बैकग्राउंड है, तो देयर इज the present setting of the sutta before it really gets going is quite colorful and as a background, so Geeta will tell us about that. और मेन इसके जो गुण माने जाते हैं कि इट गिव्स अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव समरी ऑफ ऑल द टीचिंग ऑफ द बुद्धा। जो भगवान का जो अनुपसिका कहा जाता है कि ग्रेजुअल ट्रेनिंग का जो तरीका है, उसका पूरा डिटेल इसमें आता है। एंड दैट टू फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू पॉइंटिंग आउट उसका फायदा क्या हुआ, हर एक स्टेप का क्या फायदा होता है, भिक्षु बनने की प्रक्रिया से लेकर अरहंत बनने तक क्या क्या हर एक स्टेप में फायदे होते हैं, उस डिटेल में दिए गए हैं। और बड़ी सुंदर उपमाएं हैं, इसके लिए वो बहुत अच्छी तरह जानता है। कई जो हमारे स्टडी में आते हैं, ध्यान जो है चार, उनके बारे में और निवरणों के बारे में बहुत सुंदर उपमाएं दी गई हैं, जो कि हमारे को काफी प्रेरित करती हैं उसको समझने में। So with these brief remarks, I think I'll request Geeta to please start the presentation today.
Thank you, sir. थैंक यू सर। सभी को नमस्ते। तो ये सुत्त का नाम से मैं बिल्कुल परिचित नहीं थी, हालांकि इनके किरदार से मैं परिचित हूँ। तो ये नाम मैं पहली बार सुन रही हूँ, और किसे दिया गया और क्यों दिया गया, आई डेंट हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ knowledge about it or information as such. But of course, I was very familiar with the characters in the sutta. So gratitude to sir for giving me an opportunity to present this sutta. You can see the screen, right? Okay. तो इस सूत्र को मैं और सुनील जी प्रेजेंट करेंगे. Some sections will be covered by him and some by me. तो समणफल सूत्र दीघ निकाय की द्वितीय सूत्र है. So this is King Ajatasattu in front of the Buddha. समणफला means, जैसे अभी सर ने बता ही दिया, fruits of ascetic life और fruits of reclusion. यहाँ पर फला का हाईलाइट्स है द रिवॉर्ड्स दैट कम फ्रॉम अ डेडिकेटेड प्रैक्टिस. तो मैंने इसे 3 भाग में डिवाइड कर दिया है. फेज 1 विल बी द ओवरव्यू ऑफ द सूत्र. इसका बैकग्राउंड और बैक स्टोरी समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि ये किस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में दी गई, क्यों दिया गया और किसकी वजह से दिया गया है. एंड देन मीटिंग द बुद्धा. Then phase 2 is where the Buddha gives the entire framework of 16 fruits of reclusion. हम आगे देखेंगे इसका स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस. फर्स्ट स्टार्टिंग विद फर्स्ट 2 विजिबल फ्रूट्स, फिर जो 4 प्री रेक्विजिट्स जिसके जो बहुत जरूरी है टू रीच दी हायर स्टेट्स, जैसे शील की बात हो रही है यहाँ पर, इंद्रिय संवर, सती संपजन्य और संतुष्टि. फेज 3, after overcoming the hindrances, jhanas, then insight knowledge, abhinya, and ultimately freedom from greed, hatred, and delusion, that is end of all defilements to destruction of cankers. You kaho to one is moving from worldly to otherworldly happiness and greater than otherworldly happiness. So in brief, I can say the fruits of recluseship life is the result of being practiced in the three trainings of, it's nothing, it's basically the training of शील समाधि पन्या की ये बात हो रही है. तो आज मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि एटलीस्ट we finish with the phase one and see how far I go. So ये the relevance and importance of this sutta. The Samaññaphala Sutta is considered as one of the most spiritually uplifting teachings of the Buddha. It's a masterpiece of Pali literature for its profound content. Why it is rich in content, we will understand with our own experience जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे सूत्र में. Second thing why it is important is the sutta is referenced throughout the Sutta Pitaka. कई बार आ चुका है इनके passages. दीघ निकाय में sometime like 6-7 times, numerous time in Majjhima Nikaya, and maybe at least once or twice in Anguttara Nikaya. So it also addresses a crucial question posed by the king. What are the benefits of becoming a monk? कि भिक्षु बनने का क्या importance है? Or nun? What is it so good about becoming a monk or a nun? Or what rewards does monastic life hold? कि ऐसी कौन सी importance है भिक्षु बनने का और क्या फायदा क्या है इसका? And this question was asked because the king was stricken by guilt and remorse. तो हम आगे देखेंगे. And he was seeking for answers to elevate his suffering. वो अपने दुख से बाहर आना चाहते हैं. हम सबको पता है कि हमारा ये सारा मार्ग ही दुख से बाहर निकलने का है. So the whole purpose of king's meeting was to overcome his guilt and come out of the suffering. In response, the Buddha inspired the king by showing him the beauty or value of leading a pure life. He actually gave a blueprint or for practice. And if you practice it this way, and this is the benefit, जैसे अभी सर ने बताया, ये teachings कोई theory नहीं है. They actually offer a roadmap for achieving true happiness and freedom from suffering. And another important thing, जैसे commentary में बताया गया है, this sutta was delivered in the last years of Buddha's life. Sutta में तो नहीं है, it's in the commentary. Just 6 or 7 years before भगवान के परिनिर्वाण, the sutta serves as a comprehensive summary of all that he had taught during his ministry. So that makes it very interesting and why this is placed in the second position in the Digha Nikaya. और the roadmap is nothing. अभी gradual training है. अनुपुब्ब सिक्का अभी जो सर ने भी बता दिया उसके बारे में. That constitutes the heart of the Dhamma. It's a graduated path. It's nothing but it's just a detailed exposition of Noble Eightfold Path. We're giving a detailed content of how to practice each of the factors, starting from right view and progressing through each factor from right view to samadhi, so on, and leading to liberation, illustrating how each factor actually conditions the other factor, which will unfold in an ascending scale of value in practice. And another interesting part is Sutta is given with a lot of striking similes. One can relate to this analogies either directly or indirectly in our life. जब हम ध्यान के लिए बैठेंगे, we can remember this in analogies to enhance our meditation practice. हालांकि ये सूत्र दिया गया है as fruits of ascetic life, the topic is such, but these teachings are not just relevant to bhikshus, it's also equally relevant for lay people like us. And the interesting part is it is given to a householder. So throughout the discourse, here Buddha outlines the visible fruits of recluse life by tracing the disciples' journey from acquiring faith in the Tathagat. It is very important to have faith in the Tathagat. Otherwise, we will not be able to practice it properly. So let's make an intention to strengthen our faith in the Tathagat and strive to come out of all the defilements. So जैसे भगवान ने बताया है, अगर हम ऐसे प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो भगवान से आगे कल्याणकारी है, मध्य में भी कल्याणकारी है और अंत में भी कल्याणकारी है. So we are going to transit from the mundane to the supramundane level. And it's It's just a story which unfolds. Another thing, what I really liked about this sutta is it's presented in a very narrative manner. It's a, it's like a dialogue between two people. दो जन आमने सामने बैठे और एक conversation हो रहा है, which makes it very lively. इसमें emotions भी है, human interest भी है, drama भी है, कुछ हद तक suspense भी है, combined with dhamma and deep wisdom. हर एक किरदार there is something you can learn from it, valuable lessons from each one of them. So it is like these people are sitting in front of you and the story is just, the movie is going to unfold. So what I would also suggest is, when I'm talking about this sutta or when you're reading it, visualize it so that it brings a lot of energy and to the sutta. तो ऐसा समझो कि भगवान हमारे सामने ही बैठे हैं और हमें बता रहे हैं. तो हम अभी इस सुक्त में जो भी जितने भी किरदार हैं उनको हम समझ लेंगे. सो द लॉर्ड, द ब्लेसेड वन, किंग अजात सत्तु, द मेन सुक्त रिवॉल्व्स अराउंड भगवान एंड अजात सत्तु, किंग बिम्बिसार, क्वीन कोसला देवी, देवदत्त and Jeevak Kumaravach. These two personalities play a crucial role in shaping up the destiny of King Ajatasattu. 6 teachers. अब राजा है तो मंत्री भी रहेंगे, मिनिस्टर्स, एंड प्रिंस उदय बद्दा, Ajatasattu's son, and the entire Haryanka dynasty, which is the 6th generation, starting from Bimbisar, and the last one is Nagadasaka. So let's step back in time to the majestic kingdom of Magad, जो आज के जमाने में राजगीर से कहा जाता है. So it was an occasion. The sutta revolves around Ajatasattu. It was on Upasad day. We all know the significance of Upasad. During the full moon night, just बारिश की समाप्ति के बाद में, और ये कार्तिका का महीना था, sometime during October or November, Ajatasattu, son of Queen Vaidehi Putra, he was sitting on the upper terrace of his balcony or palace, जो भी कह लो, along with his ministers. So while he was sitting there late in the night, okay, so as he just gazes up at the full moon name is known as Kumudi, a sense of profound joy fills his heart. Moved by the tranquil beauty of the scene, he utters the following exclamation or udana. So क्या कहा उन्होंने? How delightful, friends, is this moonlit night. How beautiful, lovely, tranquil, auspicious is this moonlit night. Is there any recluse or Brahmin that we could visit tonight who might be able to bring peace to my mind? तो ये स्टेटमेंट से तो एक तो बहुत क्लियर है that the king is not very happy or peaceful. He seems to be troubled or haunted by some kind of a psychological burden. सो इसका वजह क्या है, तो एक हम थोड़ा सा अजात शत्रु के एक बैकग्राउंड समझ लेते हैं, बिकॉज आप सब जानते हैं अजात शत्रु को, बट जस्ट टू सेट द टोन ऑफ दिस सूत्र, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो. Ajatasattu, king of Magad, he inherited the throne from his father, King Bimbisar, a very highly ambitious and powerful king known for his military power. Unfortunately, he came under the influence of Devdutt. हम सब देवदत्त को जानते हैं, who provoked him to kill his father for his own personal gains. तो अपने फायदे के लिए उन्होंने देवदत्त ने अजातशत्रु का इस्तेमाल किया, which led him to commit such heinous crime. And the same day when Bimbisar died, on that day, Ajatasattu's son was born, Udayan. He felt suddenly, he felt so much love for his son, and at that point he realized what it meant to be a parent, which made him feel guilty of his action, because he thought, like, even my father would have felt that same kind of a love when I was born. And from that day, the king was not able to sleep. According to the commentary, this episode was a very usual phenomenon of his life. Every night when he used to go to sleep, he used to keep crying. He was so much in suffering. and basically he was looking for some help. This is something one we all can relate to it. जब हमारे साथ में कुछ तकलीफ होता है तो we keep calling our friends और start looking, go out and look for an astrologer. और मॉडर्न डे में हम ऐसे कह सकते हैं कि पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन, कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा कर लो कि हमें कुछ समाधान मिल जाए. द सेम थिंग द किंग वाज आल्सो गोइंग थ्रू. So that night, he was so inspired by the beautiful moon and he could not sleep and he wanted to talk to someone. किसी से बात करना चाहते थे and he was looking for some teacher. Hence, he made this statement: "Ki, is there any recluse or Brahmin that we could visit tonight who might be able to bring peace to my mind?" राजा सारे मंत्री के साथ में ही बैठे हुए थे, तो द मिनिस्टर्स ऑल्सो फेल्ट लॉट ऑफ कंपैशन दैट माय किंग इज इन ग्रेट ट्रबल एंड वी शुड हेल्प हिम. तो क्यों ना हम जो हमें जो जिसे हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं टीचर्स, ये एशियंट टाइम इंडिया की बात है, बिकॉज देयर लॉट ऑफ ट्रेडिशंस एंड साधु संत, इट वाज वेरी प्रेविलेंट एंड फेमस. तो ईच ऑफ द मिनिस्टर्स advocated the teachers whom they were following. तो मैं एक छोटा सा ये टीचर्स का बैकग्राउंड दे दूंगी बिफोर आई रीड द सुत. सो these teachers, 6 teachers were from the Brahminic or Vedic tradition. इनका नाम है पुराण कश्यप, मक्कली गोसाला, अजित केसकम्बला, पकुदा कच्चयाना, संजय बेलत्ती पुत्ता जो former teacher of Venerable Sariputta and Mahamoggalana, and Nigant Nathaputta. They were from the Brahmic or Brahmin or Vedic tradition. Uh, they come from a very different school of thought, which represented various philosophical views which completely differed from the teachings of the Buddha. Were very famous and existed much before the Buddha. I'm not too sure. I think that's how it says. Uh, they believed in the creator God, soul, and one day after death, their soul will merge with the ultimate soul, कि वो परमात्मा के साथ मिल जाएगा. So they believed in this permanent self. हमने ये ब्रह्मजाल सूत्र में हमने पढ़ा ही है कि कैसे like they used to get into a lot of speculations about metaphysical speech and they took up to extreme austerity, whereas the teachings of the Buddha is a middle way. So we will revisit them in the sutta as we move forward. For now, this much information I think will be sufficient. So thereupon, one of the ministers said, "Your Majesty, there is Purana Kasab, the leader of an order, of a group, the teacher of a group, well famous and well known and famous, a spiritual leader. Many people esteem as holy. He is aged, long gone forth, advanced in years, in the last phase of life. Your Majesty should visit him. He might bring peace to your mind." But when this was said, Ajatasattu was not impressed. The king remained silent. So then the other ministers said, "There is Makkali, Majesty, there is Makkali Gosala, Ajita Kesakambala, Pakuda Kachayana, Sanjayat Belataputta, Nigantanathaputta, the leader of an order, group, so on and so forth." तो मैं इसको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में पढ़ दूंगी. एक आदेश नेता है, एक सम्मुख के शिक्षक है, काफी प्रसिद्ध है, कई लोग उन्हें पवित्र के रूप में सम्मान करते हैं, वो बुजुर्ग है और जीवन के अंतिम चरण में पहुंच गए हैं. आप उनसे मिलिए, शायद आप उनसे मिलने से आपकी मन को कुछ प्रसन्नता मिलेगी. तो जब ये कहा गया तो राजा was still not impressed. He didn't want to hear all this. So he kept, वो बहुत ही चुप थे. So, such a powerful king who's known for his temperament, why did he choose silence? Is it like he was, has he encountered these teachers much before, or is he seeking a different perspective? तो आगे हम पढ़ेंगे. So, at that time, Jivak, we'll talk about Jivak little later. I'll just say Jivak was sitting silently and not very far from king. वो वहीं पर बैठे हुए थे. जीवक जीवक बेसिक जीवक इज अ पर्सनल फिजिशियन ऑफ बुद्धा, भिक्खु संघ, and King Bimbisar and Ajat Sattu. There are a lot of interesting things to know about Jivak. Later on, I'll share the link. One can read through the on the YouTube. See, watch it. So why was the king silent? Why was he silent, king? Because was he subtly इशारा कर रहे थे वो जीवक के तरफ क्योंकि uh, uh, king knew that Jivak was a follower of Lord Buddha, and he actually wanted to meet Buddha, but he didn't have the courage to tell. So at that time, Jivak thought that if I speak, these ministers they all follow different teachers, and if I have to talk about it, it might unnecessarily create a lot of arguments or avoid interruption. Jivak thought ki I will keep quiet. When the king will ask me, that time I will talk. And Jivak बिल्कुल नहीं बोल रहे थे. And king was waiting when Jivak will speak. So when he didn't get any answer, so king thought ki now I should initiate the conversation. Then king then said to him, friend Jivak, why do you keep silent? Don't you offer someone for me to visit? Then Jeevat thought कि अच्छा राजा अभी मुझे पूछ रहे हैं तो मुझे अभी चुप नहीं रहना है. I should speak now. And then he starts to speak. What does he say? Maharaj, some Buddha Arhan is staying at a large with a large company of 1250 bhikkhus. Now he is dwelling in a mango grove, जीवक अम्बावन में. वो विहार कर रहे हैं और वो कैसी स्तुति करते हैं तो मैं इसको पाली में पढ़ दूंगी सो दैट इट बिकम्स लिटिल गुड. इतिपिसो भगवा अरहं सम्मा संबुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसधम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुस्सान बुद्धो भगवाति. When the king heard the words of praise, he was so inspired and he was very happy to hear those words like Arahan, Samma Sambuddho, trainer of men and God. His entire body was immediately suffused with rapture. I think one can really relate to it. कि जब when we wanted to meet up with the monks or hear some chanting, that is the power of Itipiso. सो ऑटोमेटिकली हमारे बॉडी में रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं. आई एम श्योर यही हाल हुआ रहेगा अजात शत्रु का. सो ही फेल्ट सो हैप्पी एंड ही थॉट कि अगर मुझे भगवान से मिलने जाना है तो अदर देन जीवक देयर इज नोबडी एल्स हु कैन प्रिपेयर द व्हीकल्स. So then he turns to Jivak and he says, then get the elephant vehicles prepared, friend Jivak. So धर्म संवेग जग गया था. तो जीवक meticulously plans the trip. So he goes. राजा है तो उनकी प्रोटेक्शन की भी बहुत जरूरत है. And it was late in the night. So because he has a lot of enemies, so he makes a great preparation with some for more than 500 female elephants. He arranges with king's personal bull elephant. So, with deep compassion, he wanted to get the king on the path of Dhamma, which is a very meritorious deed. And Jivak plays a pivotal role in getting the king on the path of Dhamma. So, आगे देखते हैं what happens. So, king having placed his wives each on one of the 500 she elephants and he himself on bull elephant, they set out in a very grandeur manner. एकदम हाट वाट के साथ में राजा है तो पूरे grandeur manner में, like accompanied by torch bearers, attendants, and a lot of other ambience which got into it. Moreover, it's elephants, they move very slowly, and all the elephants were moving very mindfully, just one after the other. When the king was, but this is something which is very interesting. Now, really, what happened? So, when the king was nearing the mango grove, he was suddenly gripped by fear. He felt fear and terror. King was not very used to this quietness. He was very insecure, thinking that everybody is trying to harm him. So one can relate to his mental state. Okay, when you have done some unwholesome deed, you're always like, you're suspecting others, or you always feel threat. He was like, he was doubting, or he became very suspicious of Jiva. तो ही लुक्स एट जीवक और कहते हैं जीवक तुम मुझे धोखा तो नहीं दे रहे हो, मुझे दगाबाज तो नहीं दे रहे हो, और मुझे मेरे शत्रुओं के पास तो हवाला नहीं कर रहे हो. यू आर इन डिसीविंग एंड यू बिट्रेइंग और अबाउट टू टर्न मी ओवर टू माय एनिमीज. You told me that according to Jivak, there were 1250 monks with the Buddha. So he asked, with such a large company of 1250 monks, that कोई छींक नहीं रहा है, कोई खांस नहीं रहा है, कोई बिल्कुल आवाज नहीं है, without any sound of sneezing or coughing or any noise at all, he gets very paranoid. Then Jivak says Buddha likes silence. This also reminds us Buddha always suggests two things to do. Either when you're quiet, either you talk about Dhamma, if not, you sit silently and reflect. So Jivak says, do not be afraid, great king. मैं तुम्हें धोखा नहीं दे रहा हूँ. I'm not deceiving or betraying you. Neither I'm handing you over to your enemies. आगे बढ़ो, महाराज, आगे बढ़ो. Look there, those are the lamps burning in the pavilion hall. आगे बढ़ो. So now Ajatasattu, he walked just in front of the pavilion. तो वो निकट पहुंचते हैं, और जितना दूर तक वो हाथी से जा सकते हैं वो पहुंच गए, और उतर के वो पैदल चले जाते हैं वहां पर. Now having approached, he tells, it looks very unlikely, like, he's asking Buddha ka presence, who's Buddha, Tathagat. Presence of Buddha is obviously anybody can make up, and one can differentiate between the Buddha and who's the Lord and who's the disciple. Yet he asked Jivak, where is Tathagat? So Jivak says, there, Tathagat is sitting there in middle of the pillar. So that is the exalted one, great king. He's the one sitting against the middle pillar, facing east, in front of company of bhikkhus. So then he goes very close to the Buddha. Having approached, he stood there surveying the company of bhikkhus. Complete silence में, it was a complete silence, as serene as a calm lake. The king was actually overwhelmed by the peaceful atmosphere. He expressed his wish for his son, saying, may my son, the Prince Udayabhadra, enjoy such peace as the company of bhikkhus now enjoy. It's very natural when we come in contact with someone whom we wanted to meet, or highly elated states, भिक्षु लोग से हमें मिलना है, तो obviously एक धर्म संवेग जगता है, and we want to wish good for others also, which so and so is part of this retreat. And the environment was very conducive. So many people, 1250 people with Lord himself meditating. So obviously वो vibration से अजातशत्रु got in tune with the vibration. So उनके मन से एकदम एक मैत्री जागने लगा है अपने पुत्र के लिए. So he wishes good wishes for him. So hence he wished such peace for his son. But Buddha, having read his mind, responds to his exclamation in a very compassionate manner, because Buddha knew that he had killed his father. So he says, do your thoughts, great king. Follow the call of your action. Then the king said, Lord, I love my son. King is also a father. So looking at the Sangha, he got inspired, and he wished that may my son, the Prince Udayabhadra, enjoy such peace as the company of bhikkhus now enjoys. Then he paid homage to the Exalted One, having bowed down to the Lord, and saluted the order of monks with joined hands, hands in Anjali, he sat down to one side and then said, Venerable Sir, Bhante, I have a certain question to ask. And Lord answers, ask whatever you wish, great king, ask whatever you wish. I think so far this is the story. I'll stop here, and tomorrow will be the main thing where Ajatsattu talks about, where Buddha talks about the fruits of ascetic life with first two visible fruits. So, thank you.
प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं।